someone has to go home. Could be Immortals, it could be Gen.G, but regardless, we will find out who are the top 3 teams that will be left remaining for the remaining of the playoff bracket tomorrow. Today will be that day. And to kick us off, it is Immortals starting us off on the defensive side, and Gen.G, of course, to oppose them on the attack. And already looking at the setup, we have a lot of members of Immortals stacked towards this B site, looking to potentially read some of this hookah play that will kick us off, but we're halted immediately by a technical pause.
Standard. You know, they're a little bit excited, nervous. This is elimination series in this best out of 3 between Immortals and Gen.G. And looks like it's going to be Immortals starting off here on the defender side. So this is going to be a very tough one here for Gen.G, in my opinion, as we know how well Immortals could play that defense too. Very passive, using the Sova to his best abilities with the recon arrow. This time stacking towards the B side, though, with the Immortals, but usually playing towards that A where we see as well from Genghsta. But it's going to be MkaeL that's going to move forward first with Demo, or GMD in, if you guys don't know, but I could call him by his first name because I'm pretty good friends with him too. But they're actually trying to go for the split towards this A side on a 3-2.
It's a very interesting agent composition as well.
It's Koler full name.
Yeah, okay, all right. A very interesting agent composition as well from the side of Gen.G. We have the Sova, pretty standard stuff. But Immortals, they're going, Sage, but they're going Sageless here for Immortals, and I'd love to see how that turns out. They've got 2 duelists and a couple of control agents as well, but Koler, he's controlling the tempo of the match. 3 picks off with the Ghost will send Gen.G down. All but 1 final player remains. It's player 1, some paint shells will chip him away as the rest of Immortals now pushing forward. I like the attempt to clear their way through the showers. And I think there was a little bit of a setup there as well from Gen.G to push in through A short and try to have some lamps control. But Koler, he just swung and he swung hard. 3 picks for him. That's him a Phantom to kick us off. And that's a very, very spicy round number 2, especially as well Asuna joining him in that Phantom club. They've got a lot of weapons that they want to keep into that gun round.
It was actually a really great strat for Gen.G at that point. They had smokes towards the heaven. They also threw a frost orb towards the heaven side so nobody could really peek out because they pushed in deep. They just wanted to funnel into the U, knowing that Koler is playing in there, and it was technically going to be a 3 versus 1 inside the lamps. And it's pretty much impossible to hold him unless you're cracked on that round, and that's exactly what Koler did, landing 3 headshots with the Ghost off 1 single clip was good enough to hold that defense. I mean, if they got that kill, they break the wall with the knives, and then they had the choice to go or through teleporter or into A and still plant. But they've narrowed it down to just Koler doing his job on the Immortal side. But this round here for Gen.G, 2 classic kills for Huynh, and the mission is successful at this point. The spike will go down as Asuna quickly dispatches him. They'll get the defuse, but like I said, they get the plant. They get some money in, 300 credits on a full save. They didn't really buy much out of that, so the real gun round will come through now.
And they still were able to net themselves a couple of picks, and when you're stacking classics, that's your goal. Yes, the Phantoms will move on, That's weapons that now have to be repurchased by Immortals. And judging by how the economy looks, Genghsta not really going to be able to buy a whole lot. Koler as well may have to double down to some Spectres or some Shorties or a couple of buys that might come in from some of the players. So it's actually just the Bulldogs. So they have a very doable gun round here to take to Gen.G. And we'll see what the setup looks like. So now that the gun rounds are in play, they're just gathering information. Spike, of course, is stacked towards that B side, but it'll now start to rotate over. They have a tripwire set up in case there is a flank. So their intentions are clear. It's the A site that they want, and all they need is a pick to open it up.
I heard the shock darts coming down there towards that A side, thinking if Koler was going to play towards that triple box inside the A side, but it's going to be GMD that gets the opener kill, flushing him out from Tetris as Dicey trades it back, gets a second kill onto player 1. And now MkaeL going for that flank. Genghsta was so focused on trying to look towards that A side. Big flank to come through. Gets those 2 kills coming across, and just like that, the attacker side are putting a lot of work, but the retake is so good for Dicey, who does get the ace on top of that. 3 headshots to seal the deal.
That was a big play. And I mean, Gen.G, you don't normally see MkaeL push up that far. but he netted himself some pretty important picks that at least gave Gen.G space. Okay, we can at least try to get this spike down, but they're like, okay, you just want to hide in lamps? Fine by me. I'm going to swing on the planter, and I'm going to take out Effys. Easy peasy. And so that's a pretty good round there for Immortals. Gun round out of the way, and they could start off with a pretty huge lead. Yes, Gen.G might start to find some momentum back into their favor, but we also came into this knowing that Pine was not going to be a good map for Gen.G anyways. Yes, they've got a good win rate on it, but yesterday it was a 13-4 victory with Immortals just rolling in the deep on Vine. So we'll see how many Gen.G can put forward and how their setups look, but already early shots, flying 2 here for Dicey.
Yeah, that was a wall bang on the first. That is a Phoenix of GMD. And then 2 kills with the operator. Dicey is holding the B site. Now Asuna to support, Huynh to fall. And there's only going to be 2 remaining as the curveball comes through. But Jcstani still pushes aggressively, not allowing these players to fall back. And even pushing through the blaze wall. Well, they are playing with confidence now for the Immortals. 4 unanswered rounds. Should be now still some money in contention for Gen.G. And indeed, you see the buy is coming through. And they have to work with something now. They're going to buy an operator for a Huynh, and this might be the moment. But we kind of talked about Huynh before when it's like, okay, well, we kind of have a jet operator that could be used right now to try to get some picks and fall back. But you can't really lose a Sova on a map like Blind. You can get so much information for the setups on such an open site, for example, on A and B. On both A and B, not for example. Those sites are so open that it's hard to hide from the darts. So if you don't shoot it out, it's most likely that you're going to get spotted. So you really need that Sova in that composition.
So let's try to pay attention, because statistically, you and I both know that it's likely Immortals come out with the win. So let's try to sit down, let's bunker in, and let's try to figure out what is the key to Immortals' success here. Early looks at the gun round. They have vision in the first 10 seconds on every single avenue. 3 peek down long, Asuna holds down the short, and then Dicey has the angle towards A short, and they have Koler in the showers. So they have vision on every single entryway, and they can play off that. Genghsta already finding an early pick. As the spike starts to move its way through, the team's like, okay, we know that this is coming. Dicey found an early pick, so we can play off that. Let's rotate, let's find out what we need, and that's exactly what happens. Yes, it's expensive, but the round still goes their way, and that was a gun round.
No, definitely. You're talking about the head-to-head when we looked at the slide before for Asuna and GMD, but this time you have to look at the head-to-head for the offers too. Dicey versus Huynh. This is the second time where they sort of clash, but the other time Huynh only had a rifle. This was the first operator battle, and it wasn't going to be towards B. So Dicey is really going all over the map right now, opting towards B. This time the battle, the last round was a battle towards short A, so he really wants to, and he's feeling himself actually too. If you're looking at it, we talked about how shaky it was maybe on that last best out of 3, but so far he hasn't missed that much in terms of getting the right position, the right angles, and playing it smart too. If he misses, it's very rare so far that he's going to try to go for a repeat where a numbers advantage could actually punish him. Now into this round that the camera's going to get so much information with 2 guys moving towards the lamp. It should be around here for the Immortals as we do have Gen.G on that save.
Still will likely get that spike down because it's a late rotate from Immortals. I mean, they obviously spotted this out, but the Blaze Wall wasn't able to spot them out early enough. Koler will be on janitor duty as he cleans up some of those members back towards short. Effys wants to at least get the spike down, but unfortunately it's not really in a great position. Not even going to pick it up. May just look for some frags on his way out, and of course, if he does so, that'll be kind of his mission, but looking like mission impossible now at this point. And while we have some time, I did want to point out, Dicey has the op, right? He's got the operator, he's playing long sight lines. He was on the A site during the gun round, but then towards this pistol, they were 3 stacked towards the B site. Maybe anticipating a rush from Hookah, or maybe anticipating like a rush from Wood. And as a result, Immortals trying to react to that. Let's see what the defense setup looks like again on this upcoming round, because I think they are trying to anticipate where are Gen.G going to be. So it's another 3 stack towards B, and Gen.G, let's see where they end up as well.
This goes here.
Well, Huynh is actually making his way towards short, trying to figure out where he wants to do the recon dart to start things off, and he's actually going to make his way towards this B side. So they're going to play the lurk here with MkaeL. That's going to go back towards the showers. Kind of what they did on that pistol with those two guys sticking together. So that's GMD and MkaeL, sorry, moving forward. I just got a short blank. But they are trying to battle it back. So they're going to contest it back for Immortals side as they have a double stack on their end. So Koler and Genghsta inside the showers. And it's going to be a pretty hefty battle here. They want to try to go for this orb, and the first one to peek is going to be Koler, and Koler doesn't need the help. He gets 2 kills, 23 HP, no stage, no needed. Now an off shot that rings, and the second one connects, but the orb is still picked up, and now he's stuck inside the corner. Somehow, Huynh is just going to play it safe. He doesn't want to try to wallbang through, as he thinks that maybe his opponent fell back, and there you go. Effys is going to decide to spray, and Genghsta is going to fall. So despite the 2 early kills that came in from Koler, it's just traded back so easily.
Yeah, but I think it was because Gen.G just stacked, and when you have that gun advantage, like, you're at least looking to trade, right? At this point, you still need at least one person towards the B site to say, okay, maybe they might be at least rotating now. But now with that Owl drone, now with the paranoia, now that they see some on the site, Asuna's going to start to rotate all the way back around. Jcstani finds a good opening pick. He's just trying to play the Tetris. The angles are so good here for Immortals, but they need to be a little bit more careful because it's the attack that's still hungry to push in, and it's working out so well. Down to just Huynh. Gonna try to push in with the op, but playing it at such a close range, especially with the smoke right there in your face, it's not much you can do. And Immortals off to a hot start. I just feel like Immortals, they're molded by Bind. Like, they're molded by the angles. They know how to hold them, and they just switch it up. So at some point, it's Koler looking down A short, and maybe it's Genghsta playing towards the truck, looking into showers. Sometimes they swing together. Whatever it is, they're trying to find out information, and it's easy, right? Like, if Koler peeks showers every single time, and he says, okay, no one's there, well, then that gives a resemblance of information that says, well, they might be towards B short, so let's gather information. So Asuna, he's there right now. Roomba goes out, and it spots one. See what ends up happening as those shots ring out, and Gen.G now forcing Asuna to pull back.
They're going to try to bring the pressure back on their end. It's going to be the curveball following the Owl drone. They spot 2 towards the back of the site from a recon dart as well, but it's still going to be Asuna that gets the first kill and second one onto GMD. So this eco, the spike drop, they're trying to push forward, but Asuna is in a great spot here to just keep them back. Yes, a recon dart's going to spot him. He's going to get into position. He doesn't care if he's shown because Dicey's still there with the operator. He's going to drop one. Jcstani pushing forward, trying to go for it. Look how many times they're re-peeking this time here. I know it's against pistols, but at the same time, it's 7-0 for Immortals. They have so much confidence right now into this matchup that they don't mind going for the re-peeks. Look at the money. They're almost all at 9K. They're okay to lose a couple of weapons because they already know that if they die, they have backup from 2 other players in that scenario from the B site to just trade it back. So it's a tough feat for Gen.G, especially 2 rounds ago. It was a 4-on-2 situation that was still able to be held by Immortals with Jcstani and Dicey. Dicey saved him pretty much. Jcstani was being sprayed left and right, and finally it gave enough time there for his teammate to come in as a Jet and get the kills with the Blade Storm and win that 4 versus 2, which at this point for me demoralizes Gen.G.
Looking at the round ahead, though, Vansilli, it does look like Dicey on these gun rounds is playing with the op towards the A site, or at least early looks towards potentially hunkering down and saying, okay, where is Gen.G? And so now the rotate's called early. They're just going to leave Koler all by his lonesome. He's got tripwires. He's got cameras. Actually, he doesn't even have a camera up. I don't even see it on the minimap there. Ultimate from Jcstani. They just want information. No one's in A short. So now, Gen.G, I like this play. I think they might try to sell this push towards the A site. So far, it's 4 stacks from Immortals. GMD going to push in. It's going to pull off Genghsta, but will it pull off Dicey as well? Yes, it does. Now, as Jcstani's anticipating the potential push that might be coming in from this A side, it's the defense from B that still don't allow Gen.G to push in. And now it's all down to player 1. The bait was sold, but they couldn't catch the fish.
Well, we do have player 1 still trying to clutch this. 27 seconds left on the clock. The spike is down, so they're covering it. They pretty much have all angles covered here for Immortals. Dicey just looking through the scope. down goes player one as he's trying to drop down towards that window. And we now have 9 unanswered rounds for the Immortals with a great round there on a retake, or I guess a hold at that point for the Immortals. The reason why I was saying retake was that the cell actually did work for a bit. You did have 2 players rotate back inside defender spawn, but little did they know that they still had the Hunter's Fury ready for Genghsta, who pulls it out, so he doesn't really need to rotate fully back. So he did it from the spawn side, even connects on a kill to support Jcstani, who was under heavy fire on the octagon. So they didn't really need to go for a full stack towards that area, as the ultimate just did enough to support him and hold the B site.
That's going to be the orbital strike to at least try to clear out lamps. Gives them safety knowing that they could push in. GMD will follow up with the hot hands, but they need to understand that Koler's been there all along. He'll stop the plant. MkaeL trying to get the job done. Dicey's still up above, but they need to make sure that lamps is cleared, and it's not. GMD and player one will get the job done, but now it boils down to a 2v2. This is the fourth up for Gen.G, and Genghsta was behind. Asuna, he was the bait. And Immortals, they are playing this defender side masterfully. But I also need to bring into question the stamina of these two teams, right? And you know, earlier on in the day, we did have Immortals. They faced off against TSM. Then they had to face off against Cloud9. Now they're facing off against Gen.G. The fact that they haven't even dropped a round yet, like, where was this Immortals a month ago or 2 months ago, right? It's so refreshing to see their new level of play.
Yeah, for both of these teams, this is pretty much their third best out of 3 for today. So it's definitely draining and straining, and the endurance definitely comes into play. But still, you see a 10-0. I know Gen.G just came back from a matchup from the upper brackets. But, in the lower brackets versus Envy, and still won that in 2 maps. But Immortals still also had to play 1 overtime and also had to play a best of 3. So a series is 3 instead of 2 maps. So looking at the scenario, yes, Immortals still had some sort of break before going into this one. But at the same time, they still played more maps too. So you're going to have to keep the mental composure into this best out of 3, knowing what's on the line. And you still have to play your A game. And Immortals, would you ask me if it would be 10-0 in this matchup so far in this first half for Immortals versus Gen.G? Gen.G, who I've been praising to be top 3 for quite a while now? No, that would have not been my answer. That I would not expect it would be 10-0.
Bullseye.
Oh, early pick there from GMD, but it's quickly answered back. And now with that spike down, let's look at the post-plant scenarios. Gen.G worried about a potential flank, but they do have 2 held up in the showers. On the opposite side, there's a wall up preventing the defense pushing in on towards the spike. But Effys, he's holding here with the Sheriff, finds one, and that's good. That's going to buy some time. They still need to try to get this spike defused. There's maybe too many members and a Molotov that's going to rain in from above. There's no way Immortals win this round. Here's going to be the swing. MkaeL with 1. That's going to be Dicey now. He's got to get out of there. 16 HP and a ticking spike. Now swinging towards the Tetris. Uses the tailwind, but it's MkaeL who shoots him in the back. And Gen.G win a very much needed round. Once that spike was down, all they needed was a molly and a dream. Easy peasy.
Yeah, and unfortunate there that Asuna actually got caught jumping. He was trying to go for, I don't even know if it's an accidental mouse wheel, because at that point, I don't know if you want to go for a jump peek, you want to go for a jiggle peek instead, because you don't want to try to shoot mid-air with a rifle in your hand. So that could have been accidental at that part. Unlucky for them, but at least for Gen.G, they get the round on the board. But I have a feeling that this is a little bit too late now for this matchup. Yes, they'll take the defender's side into the next half, but you're walking into it to a potential 10-2. A maximum 2 rounds you could get for Gen.G. As Immortals continue to aggress and show their dominance here on this map of Bond, their map pick.
Cage triggered.
And Gen.G will try to salvage this last one here with 4 players grouped up inside the showers, and a big shock dart from Genghsta that's going to put MkaeL down to 75 and no armor.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Very unfortunate. That peak did not really work out well for him. Now GMD is just going to clear the site. And for the rest of Immortals, they got to clear... they got to start coming in from the defender spawn. But the big ticket is that Jcstani and Asuna have been pushing in from the B site. They gathered a lot of time, and that allowed them now to give Gen.G a little bit of a harder time. He's going to have to now push forward. GMD is going to be swinging from the back, so it's the flank off of the flank off of the flank. And now, as they push in, Asuna sent through the portal. That's going to be Dicey as well, pushing forward. Gen.G's back against the ropes. That's going to be Effys. Keeps things in contention. Resurrection comes through as well. Genghsta, the last player standing, has to pre-fire these corners, but he needs to start defusing. There's going to be the stick. He's going to get shot at by MkaeL, but they're just playing cat and mouse. All he needs to do is stall. That's the swing, and it goes well. Gen.G keep their dream alive. I thought for a second there, Immortals had a good flank. All they needed to do was pincer them. But Gen.G, good in the post plant, never gave up. And now we are moving on to the second half, where pistol is super important for Gen.G to win. You know, it's double digits here for Immortals, and it's been what, 10 straight. If Immortals win the pistol, they might just take it home.
I still gotta say that I gotta commend the way that Immortals played that retake. I don't know if you've noticed it, but on that mini-map, there was a trap wire watching that flank, and the way that they did not activate that trap wire so they go for a bigger flank for the Raze and the Omen, right? So they went for a Satchel Charge over and a Shrouded Step to get over the trap wire to get the big flank. The thing is, unfortunately, the players that were still inside the A side to get a couple of trades, but not wasted enough time to get these guys go for the big flank either. So a nice job for Gen.G to hold on a flank after flank, and that allowed them basically to get the round, thankfully, because Effys still had a resurrection on his side.
Lock in sight.
Effys just gonna run across the barrier. GMD finds Asuna. That's a very important pick. We talked about how important that might be, but Koler is going to help break open onto the site. Look at the resources they've tried to commit, but player one, he smells the rotation. That's one, but he gets the headshot. Looking for the second. Yes, he will. It's on to Jcstani, and now Immortals just down to 2. It's the 2v3, and the rest of Gen.G are going to be funneling in through a short. Still 50 seconds left on the clock. And we will see MkaeL pinching into the shower, still holding that angle. GMD holding down that crossfire. Sorry, that angle. He's going to find Dicey. Genghsta will burn alive by the hot hand, something I did not expect. But, I mean, when you got to swing, you got to swing. So Gen.G, they win the pistol. Very important for them to do so. And we'll see how this translates into maybe a comeback. Possibly. They're on the defender's side. But Immortals, they had a really good attacker side yesterday when these two teams faced.
Great round there. Great pistol for Gen.G. Like I said, control Asuna, prevent him from taking that push towards that hookah, and they already pushed towards long A, a short A rather, for GMD and for player one. So they cleared the whole area, they cleared the whole angle, and when they actually killed Asuna, it was like, oh crap, they have the big flank, let's take the teleporter to the A side. But since player one was already pushed back towards that cave, he was able to catch him off guard, backstab a few guys, and just win a clean pistol round for Gen.G. This time they're just going to try to dash into the site, drop in for a trade with a low buy, even nothing going through for the attackers in terms of equipment. It is going to be just one kill resulting for Gen.G. Or sorry, one kill resulting for the Immortals as Gen.G will get the round.
So this may be the round where things really start to turn sour for Gen.G. And I say that because it's always this round that the weaponry is like 80% okay or 70% okay. But for the opposite side, they've saved for 2 rounds. They've had 1900 come through. They've had 2400 come through. And now they have more than enough to get the buy that they need. It's the gun round. But for Gen.G, it's going to be rough. So we'll see how they hold. I think that's going to be the major key. And like you said, if they take Asuna out first, that's going to be super key. So early peeks in, that's going to be the run it back as well from GMD. That's kind of the ticket. They want to take care of Asuna this way. But seeing him in the corner, that's going to be another one also that goes into the portal. I like this play because as GMD pushes forward, Koler is there ready with the crossfire if things get scary. He's got the camera as well. It's looking for any of those entrances. This is perfect to take care of Asuna.
That's such a big brain. I think they heard the camera, at least that's where they're pinging it. You saw Asuna looking towards the air, but look at this play. MkaeL, I'm pretty sure that he made it. Oh, hold on, let's just talk about it after. There goes that trade, there goes that kill. It's a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, the action is kind of quiet, but they are lurking inside this B side, so MkaeL has to stay alive as long as he can, while the rest of his team currently rotating from the A side, leaving only one player inside A. It's going to be player 1 playing from heaven, so they'll play retake on A, stack up on B, and this is where the attackers of Immortals are currently going. And that's going to be Jcstani getting the first kill. The 2 players playing inside the tin as Effys retaliates back onto Koler. Still 2 alive inside the side. Big curveball, but Jcstani still gets the blind wallbang headshot onto GMD. A second one, making it a third into the round onto Effys. Player 1 already under rotation. That's 1, that's 2. It's a 1 versus 1, and Dicey wins it 11-4 for the Immortals as they answer back. And what I was trying to say here, Simo, is that camera play from MkaeL, when he made it into the portal, I'm pretty sure that he did not take the teleporter through. So I don't know if I don't think they heard anything. I think it was playing from the hookah, if I'm not mistaken. And when the run it back came from GMD and he opened that door, he just walked in so that they don't think that there's 2 players in there. So that was a sick play actually on a change on the defense of Gen.G. But unfortunately, it was just stronger on the retake for the Immortals.
Bomb buddy out.
Well, I mean, looking at some of the tape, how many times has Asuna played towards this hookah side on attack? Like, it's almost always that he uses the boombot to clear things out. And you even see the slow orb to try to stop him out. Koler finding an early pick onto MkaeL. That's also going to be on the opposite side. Asuna pushing forward with the rest of his team. But there's a long flank, and it's coming from GMD. If they can just hold hookah, he can get there in time to do some damage. But already, it's the defense that have done enough damage towards the attack. Just down to 2 here. Jcstani, Genghsta. He actually teleports in. Spike is down. It's going to be an easy round here now for Gen.G. But I like how they played that. Finding creative ways to deal with Asuna is kind of the name of the game here on attack.
Yeah, now there's that big flank. GMD kills him. So they're going to have to start learning this from the Immortals because it's happened at the pistol round and it's happening now where they're pushing from the showers, they're pushing from short A, and they're also getting a stack towards the hookah. So they don't really have players watching their backs right now for Immortals. They need to have, well, I guess they kind of tried to have a lurk play towards the long A side, but it was actually Koler that did lose the fight inside the showers because he was playing against 2 players already. So at that point there, they have to readapt that after, if you have your lurker that dies, have somebody else watch that flank just to make sure, because the stack is always going to happen towards that hookah to try to counter Asuna.
So pistol round here for Immortals. We'll see how much damage they can do. It seems like it's going to be the rush towards this A site. And now Koler going to lead that charge. MkaeL has the camera, sees all of them rush through. Now the rest of Gen.G, they've stacked 3 towards this B site, so a great opportunity now for Immortals to try to find and do some damage, but it's the defense that are able to stave them off, keep them at bay. Spike likely needing to go down to at least make some money here. MkaeL, he swings, and he swings hard, just holds down the spray, and now it's down to 1 point. Oh, Koler! Oh, MkaeL! That was close. That was close. Gotta tip my hat there to the Cypher with the jumping class.
Yeah, and that's why I say Silva is super important. Yes, he's not going to be an impact fragger as much for a win unless they run into his crosshair as the operator on the defensive side. So he's not going to play the aggressive peeker with the op. But the Silva gave enough. The recon arrow, when he threw it into the site, pinged 2 players. You saw it from the point of view of MkaeL, hiding inside his own cage that he loves playing by that triple box. He also hides within the dark cover to spray one, not get a kill because I think it was thick walls, but the second one he does get the wall back onto it. So that's enough information for him to get the kill, run through to you, and get 3 more kills on top of that to end the round. Now this round here, there you go. I said they had to adapt to the type of push that they're doing. They finally punished GMD out of it, and they're looking to push very aggressively inside this A side. And into the shadows, they spot one inside you. Koler gets the kill. Dicey ends a win inside the lamps, and that'll give the advantage now for the players to move in. Looking for a flawless round here as they get the plant. Oh, I like this too.
At this point for Gen.G,
throw it over to Genghsta so he gets 100 Fury.
You save. You save here. If you're Gen.G, you save. There's no way you fight for this. It's a 2v5. You lost a lot of control through the kind of aggressive plays. You know, MkaeL, he swung into showers, lost the duel against Koler. GMD pushed up, and he anticipated maybe if MkaeL like wins the gunfight, they could pinch the players trying to push through showers. But there's just one. It was the whole team that were just holding on, and then eventually push together through A short. So great play coming out from Immortals to try to counter some of these aggressive pushes, but they were just really holding on and winning some. They won at least one gunfight, and then GMD just wasn't ready for what came next. And so now, match point here for Immortals. They've got guns in their hands, and it's 5 strong. I mean, yes, they almost go hunting, but they can carry those weapons into the next round. Win or lose, they can just buy up once again, and they're in a very good position here to likely close out map number 1.
Definitely cushion at this point for Immortals, right? They're 6 points ahead. They lose a round. They build the economy back. It's okay. They're even at a point where they lose this run here. They should still be okay to buy into the next. So if they do enough economical damage losing a round, if they lose a round versus Gen.G, it's still not the end of the battle, the end of the line for the defender side at this point. So they have to win this without actually losing that many players. And it starts with a run it back, and they're pushing through that just from behind. And they know it from the Immortals. They're playing it super passively, but I don't think they'll know there's actually 2 more pushing down. So as they re-peek, here it comes behind the boxes. It's going to be Effys, the first point of contact. A jet dash towards the air, the updraft, and it seems as though they predicted that. So a double peek right after Effys to fall, and that's already the res gone. So a big gamble that does not pay off in their favor. They don't get their 777s, they get bankruptcy. Asuna is moving inside the map, and he does have that showstopper. Sees it towards that spawn. Half HP is going to be the MkaeL that's going to go down in terms of HP, and it still gets an entry onto player 1. Now we have the Hunter's Fury from the attacker side clearing out the area. It is going to be a 3 versus 2. They still have a neural theft, though, at least for the defenders. They get a kill, they find the information, it becomes a 2 versus 2, still winnable. But 3 guys super healthy right now for the Immortals.
Yeah, all they got to do is get into a good post plant, but still doable. Like you said, MkaeL now going to swing. He's going to find one. Now it's a 2v2. Neural theft as well, going to give away some of those positions. And it'll make things a little bit easier here for the side of Gen.G. But now as they start to peek through, Dicey's in a little bit of trouble. Has to deal with some of these shots that might be coming in. The flick is good. Now the shorty, it's down to the 1v1, and MkaeL sends it down.